All right, so today we're going to be deep diving into some seriously futuristic stuff. Humanoid robots.
All right.
And not just the prototypes we've seen before. We're talking mass production.
Okay.
We've got a Newsweek article that lays out the facts.
Right.
And then we've got this really lively discussion happening over on Reddit on the forum Futurology, where it seems like everyone's got an opinion and they're all over the map.
Yeah, it's really captured everyone's imagination. This news from a Chinese company called AgiBot.
AgiBot, yeah.
Claiming that they've produced nearly 1,000 of these humanoid robots.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, right.
It's not science fiction anymore.
That's big.
Newsweek even had this video of robots helping build more robots in their Shanghai factory, which maybe just a little bit creepy, but definitely fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of the movie I.O. Robot.
I see where you're coming from.
A little bit.
And it makes you wonder, are we at that tipping point where science fiction starts becoming a reality?
Right.
What's interesting is that AgiBot is really focused on practical applications. They're developing these super dexterous hands that can supposedly manipulate objects with the same finesse as human hands.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean?
Good question.
Like, what can these robots do that your average factory robot can't?
Imagine a robot that can not only assemble intricate electronics, but also handle delicate tasks.
Okay.
Like packaging fragile items or even performing surgical procedures.
Wow.
That's the level of dexterity AgiBot is aiming for.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah.
But over on Reddit, it seems like everyone's more interested in whether these robots can fold laundry and do the dishes.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I can't say I blame them.
We all want a little help with those chores.
Right.
But the bigger picture here is that AgiBot is using massive data collection to train their AI.
Okay.
This means they're feeding the robots tons of information about the real world, so they can learn how to navigate and interact with it effectively.
So it's not just about programming specific movements.
Right.
It's about teaching the robots to think for themselves.
Exactly. It's about creating robots that can adapt to new situations and learn from their experiences.
Wow.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
This isn't the only game in town.
Uh-oh.
Tesla is also developing a humanoid robot
Oh, yeah.
called Optimus.
Elon Musk got to get in on this.
And their approach is a bit different.
Newsweek mentioned that his vision for Optimus is to be more of a general-purpose robot, right?
Right, think less specialized worker.
Okay.
More like a helpful assistant.
Like a personal assistant.
Musk claims Optimus will be able to do just about anything, teach, babysit, even walk your dog.
Oh, wow.
He's basically aiming for a robot that can seamlessly integrate into our daily lives.
Okay, so on the one hand, we've got AgiBot focusing on precision and specialized tasks.
Right.
And on the other hand, we have Tesla aiming for this multi-talented, all-around helper bot. It's like two different paths to the same destination.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think, what does this mean for the future of work?
That's the question everyone's asking.
Yeah.
One user in the Futurology thread pointed out that while the U.S. often leads in research and development, China might have the edge when it comes to actually implementing new technologies in society.
Interesting.
They pointed to things like high-speed rail and digital payment systems as examples.
Which makes you wonder, are we going to see China pull ahead in this robot race too?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
They definitely have a track record of adopting and scaling new technologies rapidly.
That's true.
But some users in the Reddit discussion were a bit more skeptical.
Okay.
Especially given some of China's previous claims about their technology not quite living up to the hype.
Right.
But even if their robot isn't quite as advanced as they say, the fact that they're mass-producing them at all is a huge step.
That's a good point. It feels like we're at a turning point, doesn't it?
It certainly seems that way.
Like, whether we're ready or not, humanoid robots are about to become a part of our world.
And that brings us to the big question. Are we ready for a future where robots are walking among us?
Oh, boy.
And what exactly will that future look like?
Right.
Are we talking robot butlers?
Yeah.
Robot coworkers?
Yeah.
Robot companions? Or robot overlords?
Hopefully not that last one.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding, maybe.
I do.
But seriously, this is some heavy stuff to ponder.
It is.
We need to think critically about the potential benefits and risks of all of this.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about understanding the social, economic, and ethical implications of introducing humanoid robots into our world.
Yeah.
And those implications are vast.
Right. I'm officially hooked. Let's dive deeper into some of those implications.
Okay.
Starting with the potential impact on the job market. I mean, if robots can do all the unsafe, repetitive, or boring tasks,
Right.
what happens to the people currently doing those jobs?
That's a crucial question and one that we need to explore carefully.
Yeah. We need to ask ourselves, what does the future of work look like in a world where humans and robots are working side by side?
Right.
And how do we ensure that everyone benefits from this technological revolution?
Okay, so let's unpack that.
Right.
What are some of the specific job sectors that might be most affected by the rise of humanoid robots?
Okay.
And what are some potential solutions to address those challenges?
Well, based on our sources, there are a few key areas that come to mind. Based on our sources, there are a few key areas that come to mind. Manufacturing, for example, is already heavily automated, but humanoid robots could take it to a whole new level.
Okay.
We're talking about robots that can handle even more complex tasks,
Right.
potentially replacing entire assembly lines of human workers.
Okay. That makes sense. But it's not just factory workers, right?
Exactly.
What about other industries?
Think about transportation.
Okay.
We're already seeing the rise of self-driving cars and trucks, but imagine humanoid robots taking over as delivery drivers, taxi drivers,
Okay.
even pilots. Whoa, robot pilots. Now that's a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense from like an efficiency standpoint.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm ready to hand over the controls just yet.
I hear you. It's definitely going to take some getting used to.
Yeah.
And then there's the service industry.
Okay.
Fast food workers, waiters, cashiers.
Right.
Those are all jobs that could potentially be automated by humanoid robots.
So basically, any job that involves repetitive tasks or following a set of instructions is potentially at risk.
That's the general idea. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Sure.
Remember, robots can work tirelessly. They don't need breaks. They don't get sick.
Right.
And they're not prone to human error.
Yeah.
So from a purely economic standpoint, they could significantly boost productivity and efficiency.
Sure, but what about the human cost?
Right.
What happens to all those people who lose their jobs to robots?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's one that we need to address proactively.
That's for sure.
We can't just ignore the potential for massive job displacement.
So what are some potential solutions?
Well, one idea that's been floated around is universal basic income.
Yeah.
The idea is that everyone receives a guaranteed income regardless of whether they're working or not.
Right.
This could help cushion the blow of job losses and provide a safety net for those who are struggling to adapt.
Interesting. But I imagine that would be a pretty controversial policy.
Definitely. There are a lot of different opinions on universal basic income, both for and against.
Yeah.
Another potential solution is to focus on retraining programs,
Okay.
helping people develop the skills they need to succeed in a robot-powered economy.
Yeah, it seems like the jobs that are going to be in demand are going to be ones that require creativity, critical thinking, problem-solving skills.
Exactly.
Those things that robots aren't so good at yet.
And that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
The development of humanoid robots doesn't necessarily mean the end of human work.
Okay.
It just means that the nature of work is going to change.
Right.
We're going to need to adapt, learn new skills, and find new ways to contribute.
That's a good point. It's not just about replacing jobs, it's about transforming them.
Exactly.
But let's move on to another big concern that came up in the Reddit discussion.
Okay.
Safety. If these robots are going to be walking among us,
Right.
how do we know they're not going to malfunction and hurt someone?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that the developers of these robots are acutely aware of.
Okay.
They're building in multiple layers of safety protocols, including sensors, emergency shutoff mechanisms,
All right.
and fail-safes to prevent the robots from causing harm.
But what about hacking? Couldn't someone hack into a robot and take control of it?
Again, a valid concern.
I mean, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where the robots turn on their creators.
But cybersecurity is a top priority for any technology that's connected to the internet.
Right.
The developers of these robots are investing heavily in cybersecurity measures to prevent unauthorized access and ensure that the robots operate safely.
Okay, so it sounds like they're taking safety seriously, but what about the ethical implications?
Right.
I mean, we're talking about machines that look and act like humans.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line between tool and companion?
That's a big one, and there are no easy answers.
Yeah.
One of the Reddit users brought up the idea of robot companions for the elderly.
Okay.
On the surface, it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
A robot that can provide companionship assistance and even emotional support.
Right.
But what happens when people start developing emotional attachments to their robot companions?
Yeah, that's kind of unsettling.
It is.
Is it ethical to create robots that can mimic human emotions and form bonds with people?
Right.
And what happens when those robots inevitably break down or become obsolete.
It's definitely something to think about. And then there's the issue of privacy.
Okay.
These robots are going to be equipped with cameras and microphones constantly collecting data about our lives.
Right.
How do we ensure that this data is protected and not used for nefarious purposes?
I'm getting serious Black Mirror vibes here. It feels like there's a lot of potential for this technology to be misused.
There's no denying that, but let's not forget that technology itself is neutral.
Okay.
It's how we choose to use it that determines whether it's a force for good or evil.
Right.
And that brings us back to the importance of ethical considerations and responsible development.
Right. We need to be having these conversations now before this technology becomes so widespread that it's too late to course correct.
Exactly.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the potential benefits of humanoid robots. I mean, we've talked a lot about the risks.
Sure.
But surely there's some upsides too, right?
Absolutely. There's a reason why we're so fascinated by these machines.
Yeah.
They have the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, from healthcare to education to exploration.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, imagine a world where humanoid robots are assisting surgeons in the operating room,
Okay.
providing personalized care to the elderly, or even exploring the depths of space.
Whoa, robot astronauts. That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. And it's not just about those big flashy applications.
Okay.
Think about the everyday tasks that robots could help us with. Imagine a robot that can do your laundry, clean your house,
Okay.
or even cook you dinner.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But seriously, the potential here is enormous.
It is.
It's almost like we're on the cusp of a new era, a robotic renaissance.
I think that's a great way to put it, but with any new era comes new challenges and new questions.
Right, we need to be prepared for the changes that are coming and be willing to adapt.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
The philosophical implications of creating machines in our own image.
Right.
It's a pretty deep topic, but I think it's worth exploring.
I agree. The development of humanoid robots really forces us to confront some fundamental questions about what it means to be human.
Exactly. I mean, if we can create machines that look and act like us, what does that say about our own uniqueness?
It's a profound question, and there's no one answer. But I think it's a question that we need to grapple with as we move forward into this new era of human-robot interaction.
I think we've given our listener a lot to chew on here.
We have, but I think it's important to remember that the future is not predetermined.
True.
We have a choice in how we shape this technology and how we integrate it into our lives.
Right. It's not about fearing the future. It's about embracing the possibilities and making sure that we're using this technology for good.
Yeah.
So we talked about jobs and safety and all the ethical stuff. It's a lot.
It is.
But, I keep thinking back to that Reddit comment about China.
Yeah.
They seem to be so good at rolling out new technology fast.
Mm-hmm.
If they're ahead in this whole robot thing, what does that even mean for the rest of the world?
That's what's so interesting, right? Like you've got Silicon Valley here, all this amazing innovation,
Right.
but then things kind of move slowly.
Yeah, regulations, debates.
Yeah, takes time.
Yeah.
But China's different. They decide, boom, high-speed rail everywhere. Everybody's paying with their phone.
It's true.
So if they decide humanoid robots are the future, well, their model might give them a huge advantage.
Okay, that's kind of scary, but also impressive.
Yeah.
But okay, I got to ask the big question.
Okay.
Are we actually about to live in a world where these robots are just like walking around?
It's closer than you think.
Really?
Vaugh's already trying to mass produce them. Tesla says Optimus is a few years away.
Oh.
Cost is a big thing right now.
Oh, yeah, they've got to be super expensive.
But like any tech, the price will probably drop as they make more of them.
Okay, so in a few years, I could walk into a store and there's a robot stocking shelves or something.
Maybe you order takeout and a robot brings you your food.
I'm telling you, I was skeptical at first, but the more we talk about this, it seems like it's going to happen.
It does feel inevitable, doesn't it?
It does. And that leads to a pretty crazy question.
What's that?
If robots are doing all the routine jobs, what are we humans even going to do?
Right. It's not just about finding new jobs. It's about what is work even for.
Right.
Is it just to earn money or is it something more?
Okay, so you're saying robots free us up from the grind.
Potentially.
So we can all just chill.
Not that simple.
Oh.
It'll be a bumpy road for sure, but it's also a huge opportunity.
Okay.
What if people could spend their time on things they're passionate about? Being creative, contributing to society in new ways.
So less punching the clock, more following our dreams?
Exactly. What about more focus on education, the arts, exploring science? Things robots can't do.
I like that. That's pretty optimistic.
It is. It's about those human qualities that make us unique.
Well, I gotta say, it's exciting to think about the possibilities. Feels like a whole new chapter.
It's not just a tech revolution, it's a societal one.
True. And revolutions are messy.
They are, but they can also lead to incredible things.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We did. We went from robot factories to some pretty deep questions about what it means to be human.
And this is just the start.
Oh, yeah. This story's just getting going. Everyone listening, keep learning, keep asking those tough questions.
We'll be ready for the future.
Whatever it may hold.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of humanoid robots. It's been quite a journey, and we can't wait to see what's next. Until next time.